Prior to becoming a State Farm agent, Russell worked at the Medford International Airport, where he fondly remembers his last day when he said to himself, "I have shined 1,583 shoes." He was also instrumental in failing to get a second luggage carousel installed. He lives mostly with his wife and 4 kids in Central Point, Oregon, but sometimes they travel to Medford. In high school, he was voted most likely to disappoint. He regularly participates as a volunteer under the advice of his doctor in medical experiments. He likes hobbies, and he once received an award. Give it up for Russell Brown!
Did you shut it off? You guys are so far back. Is this on? It doesn't seem very loud. Is it loud enough?
Yeah.
Is it loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Corbanites, Corbanistas, how are you guys? Good. It is so good to be back in school, almost. Wednesday is the day, right?
Unfortunately.
Nice. Well, enjoy your last couple of days. And I just wanted to let you know there's a couple of clubs on campus that you might want to be aware of. And I'll tell you who founded those, but I think it's important that you guys get involved and serve at your school here. You've got a group that was formed last year. They came to Jeff Morse and they said, "We want to form a group around the fruits of the Spirit." He says, "Oh yeah, we'll have you guys be the Apple Corbans." And then he said, they said, we want to form a group around fish and that fish signal that's on the back of everybody's car. He goes, "You'll be the Alba Corbans." And then the people that wanted to be in a rock band, he said, "Yeah, Corbanica." And then we want to be in a rock band, but we also like skewering meat and vegetables. Yeah, Corbana kebabs. And then like we just want to help people. So yeah, Corban-Aids. So Jeff is full of ideas. He's a visionary. You need to follow him. And just thank Jeff for being here. I need a microphone stand. Oh, I got one. Never mind, I'll do it. Do it myself. So anyway, this little piece of paper here is my cheat sheet in case you were thinking it was broken. It's not broken, I'll be honest. I am cheating a little bit. But tonight, on the way up, I had a first and a last moment. You guys ever had one of these where something so random happened to you that you thought, I don't care if I live to be 600 years old, this could never possibly happen again. I am with my grandfather at a restaurant. They bring us our food. We're trying to figure out who's going to pray. You know how we do that. Is it your turn? Did I pray last time? Did you pray? And we do that whole thing. I'm not sure if we're trying to get out of praying or get ahead of our friend in the prayer category. But anyway, he looks at me and Grandpa says, "Maybe it's God's turn." I don't know how to respond to that, Grandpa. I don't know what to say. So, are those the sprinklers? If the sprinklers come on, everyone just write down here. Okay. So anyway, then we do rock, paper, scissors because we can't decide who it is to pray, whose turn it is. So we do that. I win, so it's my turn to pray. And Grandpa says to me, "You know, when I was a young boy, paper and scissors hadn't been invented, so we just played rock." And again I say, "How am I related to you?" So I'm going to diverge just right off that. We'll get to the first and the last thing. But when my kids were young, I wanted to teach them rock, paper, scissors. But the concepts, it was too high. They couldn't figure it out. The rock, the paper, the scissors, it's too much for their little minds. So I said, I got to find a simpler way. And you guys can use this someday when you have kids. But I said, you know, let's dumb this down, not in a mean way, but let's get it to their level. Let's use smaller items. So I invented Pebble Sticky Note Tweezer. Because those are smaller items. Kids can understand those. So how it works, you still do 2 pounds, like we all do. So it's 2 pounds, but for the pebble, it's 2 pounds imaginary sand, blow it off, clean it away till there's 1 pebble left. For the sticky note, again, 2 pounds, sticky note, sticky note, sticky note, sticky. You gotta do 4 times on your body, and it's usually 2 forehead, 1 each shoulder. And the last one is tweezer. Now this is way too difficult for kids. We do ring finger, pinky, try it. It's much easier. Lift their hand 4 times. So let's say you have a situation where both got pebble. Yeah, you don't do over. You take the pebbles out. Who wins? The one who can drop the imaginary sand and clean their hand up is fast and leave just 1 pebble wins. You guys can use it. Back to the restaurant. So I'm in my prayer, and I'm thanking the Lord for how good He is. I'm thanking Him for this meal we're about to eat. And as I'm praying, I don't stop talking, but my brain shuts off because I'm diverted to the overhead speakers. This is a true story. I am now listening to AC/DC's Highway to Hell as I'm praying. And I'm going, I don't think this could ever happen in 500 years, that this would happen right here. I am praying to the God of the universe, and they're singing about driving down a highway to hell. Just randomly bizarre. Anyway, so I went to college a few years ago. I don't know how old you guys think I am, but I'm older than that. So I was kind of a big deal in college. I really was, and I'm not bragging, but I was a big deal. And I lost 125 pounds. And I told her, we are through, do not come back, because we are not getting back together. They say when you are in front of a large audience and you are feeling a little bit nervous, perhaps like I am right now, a good way to calm down your nerves is to picture your audience in their underwear. Hold on, stop, don't go further. Also, if you are in the crowd tonight and you're thinking, I'm nervous sitting here, don't look at me that way. Because, number one, I won't be viewing you guys that way because I just got a mosquito smushed on my face. That's one. I won't be looking at you guys that way. I hold you guys in high regard, and I would not be doing that. And so that way we can just keep it a family-friendly evening, above reproach. Just have a... Seriously, lady, would you stop looking at me that way? I can sense it. And it's inappropriate. Mom? What are you doing here? Yeah, I know you've seen me in my underwear. I had 4 older sisters that like to play dress-up. You've seen me in your underwear. But you're interrupting me. I'm trying to talk to them about insurance. Do you mind? We continue? Thank you. So I am a little bit bummed out tonight because my wife is not here. Normally she's here with me when I travel and do these events. But tonight she's actually away attending a couple's marriage retreat. And this year I got her some stationery and a really cool pen. Hopefully she'll take some notes and bring it back to help me out in the relationship. I'm very passionate about my marriage, and I love my wife, and I think that's fairly obvious since I sign her up for these events every year. I was recently asked to do some modeling. I know, right? Why not me? Why not? So I went and did my photo shoot. And it was a hoot, guys. I'm telling you, it is awesome to do those photo shoots. If you want to check them out, not now, put away your smartphones. Check it out later. It's www.weightwatchers.com/before pics. That's where I'll be, and I have to say, it's pretty sweet. So how many of you guys have been with a nonprofit organization ever? Okay, you're college students, you're all nonprofit organizations right now, and hopefully someday there will be a profit. But a friend of mine recently started his own nonprofit organization aimed at providing housing for socially outcast sea mammals entitled Habitat for Manatee. And I am proud to announce that we just completed our first cul-de-sac of ceramic castles. The landscaper's coming in this next week to lay down some treasure chests with a bobbing lid. And then we also have a life-size deep-sea diver, complete with the iron mask. He works off bubbles. For the older manatee, we have gotten rid of their front yard kind of algae and replaced those with colored rocks, kind of like what we do with our older population. But I'm going to suggest on our next build that we do it above sea level, because as you can imagine, it's a little hard to swing a hammer underwater. I don't know what I was holding my breath for. I have an oxygen tank. Anyway, you guys mind? It is kind of hot out here. Do you mind if I just kind of... I have a shirt on underneath, so it's just really hot. So I gotta... Anyway. So I was in the store the other day because I found a smoking deal on his and hers chainsaws. And it was a BOGO ho, a buy one get one half off, $117.25. Yeah, it was a steal. I mean, that was the name of the chainsaw, S-T-I-H-L, for those of you that aren't connoisseurs of the sawing chain. Anyway, as I go to pay for my purchase, I don't have my wallet. I don't have. So I'm rummaging around, and I stumble across an old checkbook. Do we still take checks in society? Have the rules changed? I flipped that bad boy open. The last time I wrote a check, July 3, 2002. So, as I go to write my check for $117.25, I can't for the life of me figure out how to write that out longhand. So my check ends up reading $11.75 over 100, reduce fraction to its simplest form of 1/4 cents. They were right. I was actually going to use that in life. And I did. And I provide a little math humor for you arithmetic-minded people. I think the check system is way too cumbersome. It holds up the line. People don't fill them out in a timely manner. I think we need to get rid of that. Instead, I think some genius came along and said, hey, I got an idea. We'll just have a credit card system that you can just, and you're out the door. Just swipe it and you're done. And the lines are no longer. Really. Guys, I do impressions. Okay, actually, I started doing impressions last Thursday, and I would like to now do my impression of the man standing in front of me in line at the store attempting to pay with a credit card. First off, there's a universally accepted rules with doing a credit card, right? If they're swiping, you better be, if they're swiping your groceries or whatever, you better be pre-swiping ready to sign, right? Am I right? Has anyone ever used a credit card here? Okay, that's how it's supposed to work. But not this guy. He's doing this. He's waiting till it's all done. Are you okay there, pal? So he waits till it's all done, and she says, it'll be $68.25. And he's like, oh? I'm like, did you not think you were going to have to do this after she was done? Were you going to come in and trade a mule or some barley? This is America. You need to be prepared. So he pulls his wallet out, and he's got like 6 credit cards. He's like, no. They all swipe the same. So he finally picks one, and he swipes it upside down. Of course. Sir, that's upside down? Oh, sir, that's backwards? And I'm thinking to myself, there's a diagram on the machine. Because I always think in sarcastic falsetto. Then she says, credit or debit? And he's like, credit. I mean debit. Let's void this out and start all over. Because George Jetson can't figure out this miniature futuristic. Swipes it again. Gets it right the first time. Good, we're learning. Sir, your PIN number? What? PIN number. Oh, that's the last 4 of my social. Nope. It's my date of birth. Nope. It's my address. Nope. Maybe it's the destination of your first airline visit. Oh, I know what it is. It's PIN number. P-I-N number sign. I did it that way so I wouldn't forget. Oh, is that what we're doing here? So as we're waiting for that to return from China, she motions for him to sign. And he goes, oh, I don't have a pen. I interject, you don't have a pen? Well, there's a stylus tethered to the device for your convenience. So we're all done with this entire ordeal, and he finishes it with this. Oh, I have a coupon. No. You do not have a coupon. You'll have a coupon for next time, because this train station is leaving the bus. So, just by a show of hands, how many of you guys are either wearing contacts or glasses? Actually, throw your glasses up and take your contacts out and put them on your fingers, just so I don't actually have a joke for that. I just needed a transition. I think one of the most difficult things to go through as a parent is losing a child in a department store. And I remember one time I was in a store with my son, and we were looking at flat screen TVs and DVD players and surround sound and all that stuff, and I just got caught up in it, y'all. And I got taken away with time, and when I turned to say, hey buddy, you ready to go? I looked, and he was gone. And my heart sank in my stomach. I had that pit in my stomach. You know, like when I was a kid and the neighborhood kids said I needed to take a bite out of that pulsating larva sac if I wanted to fly like them. You want to fly like the rest of us, don't you, Brown? I guess so. All you need to do is take one bite. Do I have to? That kind of sick. That's how I felt. So then common sense stepped in and said, oh, no. Just check on either side of the aisle here. That's probably where he's at. I'm like, oh, thank you, Mr. Sense. So I checked on each side of the aisle, and I'm here to tell you guys that for the first time in my life, common sense was dead wrong because my son wasn't there. Then it happened. I went level 9, whatever that means, and I started freaking out. There's a problem with this. I've never freaked out over anything in my life. I've seen it on TV, and I've seen it in movies. But they're professional actors. They have coaches. This was me. So I just started muttering these 3 words over and over. Missing young son! Missing young son! And my chest was getting tight. I was hyperventilating. Missing young son! Missing young son! And this little Asian man comes up to me and goes, I'm young son! How may I help you? I said, no. I'm missing my young son. Can you help me find him? He's like, well, what does he look like? And I said, well, he looks like he's going to grow up and have kids and get married. Well, hopefully not in that order, but anyway, his facial features. He's got red hair and freckles, and so all the employees just fanned out on this massive search for my son. And it wasn't about 2 minutes later that the manager brought him to me. And I remember I grabbed him, and I just held him close, and I embraced him. And tears ran down my face, and I kissed him on the cheek, and then I finally cupped his face in my hands, and I looked him in the eyes, and I said, Mr. Manager, you have no idea how grateful I am that you have found my son. Thank you very much. Now go in peace. And then I looked at my son, who was equally upset, tears welling up in his eyes. And, I'll never forget what he said to me. He was so brave as he summoned up all the courage that was within his body at the time. And he said, Dad, I was in the back getting something for a customer. My managers asked me to have you leave, or they're going to fire me. And guys, wow, I learned my lesson that night. And I'm sure you guys have learned a lesson as well. You may not know what it is, but I'll explain it. Going to a store that you are not employed at and picketing because they hired your son instead of you doesn't look very good. No, I'm over it. It's his job. He tickled their ears, whatever he said. No, I don't care. You just wear your little name badge and help your little customers, and I'll just stay at home and search SouthernOregonHelpWanted.com. And finally, Corbanica, I would like to leave you with this. 3 things that were never heard in Adam and Eve's household. Adam, please won't you try some of my freshly baked apple pie? Not funny, Eve! It's not funny. Or, Dad, seriously, that was years ago. I mean, you got to move on. You got to get past this. All I want is a pet snake. Besides, I'm 153 years old. I think I can handle it. Or, hey, babe, does this leaf make me look fat? Thanks a lot, you guys. You guys have been great.